have been guided here for a reason. I channel a group of higher dimensional light beings whom I refer to as the blue team, and it is my great honor and privilege to share some of that energy with you today in the group channeling. We will show you 3 sacred items, and you get to choose one of those 3 sacred items, and I will channel hopefully all the answers that you need to hear today. Welcome, what a blessing it is to connect with you today. You have been guided here for a reason, and there is surely something that needs to come through for you today. And the group channeling session is really one of my favorite sessions because everyone gets to participate. And I especially like this idea of people tapping in later and that the energy gets to continue. And of course the beings always know time doesn't exist, so there's a reason why people are tapping in this moment. But of course, in terms of our linear time, the moment that we tap in right now, it's just post the beautiful new moon we had in Cancer, which was an incredibly liberating, beautiful, gentle new moon. And it has been, and still is, an excellent moment for dreaming, weaving your dreams, tapping into the visions that you have for a future. And we really want to say getting very dreamy about those visions. And of course, if we look at the state of the world and we look at what's being spread around, what news is coming through on social media, and of course the sort of propagandas that have been exposed in terms of more mainstream medias, it's quite easy to be cynical. But this really is a potent, powerful moment for us to dream a dream that seems almost unreal, almost unachievable, yet it cannot be achievable unless we dare to dream it into existence. So put those dreaming caps on and get a little bit excited about the kind of world that we get to choose, that we get to create out of the ashes of all that is burning right now. And yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Carla. I'm a psychic. This is my full-time profession. I channel a group of higher dimensional light beings whom I refer to as the blue team, and it is my great honor and privilege to share some of that energy with you today in the group channeling session. So the way this session works is I'm going to take you through just a short guided meditation practice. The intention there is to help you to connect with your guiding spirits, tap into your intuition, and you get to ask your questions of spirit today. Whatever it is you need guidance on, whatever it is, you give that over to spirit. Your guides will liaise with the blue team. Blue team will talk to me, and I will channel hopefully all the answers that you need to hear today. And after that, we will show you 3 sacred items, and you get to choose one of those 3 sacred items, or if you like, you can choose 2 or 3, or perhaps you get an intuition that this one is about your love life and that one is about your career, or maybe you just feel one hit you in the heart and one in the head, whatever it is, and maybe there's just a little bit from this one and a little bit from that one that resonates for you. As always with group channeling sessions, not every single thing that I say will be necessarily for you. And so it's up to you to use your discretion and to take what resonates for you and to leave the rest behind. Of course, for those of you who are new, if you enjoyed the energy today, it It would be such a privilege if you were to hit follow. What a profound blessing it would be to continue to journey with you in this sacred time. You know, every single one of you, your energy contributes to the session in such a powerful way. Like, you can never actually imagine how it's the meeting of all of our energies, your guides, my guides, you know, and you think almost of how in the largeness of this universe and this earth and the amount of people, how almost unlikely it is that we meet, and yet we have the privilege of being right here, right now, together, and that is a miracle. I would love to invite you all to just take a little moment to give a stretch. You know that stretch when you just first wake up in the morning and you let out that sound like just give one of those. Just move that body a little intuitively. Just greet yourself for a moment. Maybe you bring a little bit of flexion into the spine, rotation into the shoulders, whatever it is. And just slowly make your way to your favorite or most aligned meditation posture for today. And it really doesn't matter, you know, I think sometimes people have this idea that they have to sit cross-legged on the floor in a, you know, a lotus position. And of course, not all of our bodies are in that space, and that's okay. Not all of us have the same ancestry either, and that's okay. And I think we don't need to have a hero view of what a meditation is. You know, you can meditate lying flat on your back. You can meditate seated in a chair. There are a few alignments I believe to be quite important. The straightness of the spine, which really allows the spinal fluid to move, and it allows the nervous system, so the communication between your brain, mind, spirit, and the body. So there's a good communication flow happening, so a nice straight spine. So where you are able to get into a straight spine and be comfortable, that is normally the best meditation position for you. So if that's in a chair or it's lying flat on your back, beautiful. Get into your favorite meditation posture. You can take your time. I invite you to become aware of your breath. And as you focus your breath, you might find automatically, quite naturally, it slows down. And becomes a little deeper. Invite the stomach to expand and contract. Inviting the diaphragm muscles to move up and down. That's the muscle underneath the lungs, if you didn't know. Really inviting that breath all the way deep into the bottom little vessels of the lungs. And just for a few breaths on the exhale, just see if you can completely empty the lungs. So when you reach that end of the exhale, see if you can just push a little bit more of that stale old air out. You might notice how your focus upon the breath allows you to calm. Of course, if you've had a busy day or you have a busy day ahead, it might be challenging to keep thoughts at bay, so I invite you to just make peace with any thoughts that pop in. Just greet them, thank them for coming, and let them flow past, moving through. And just very gently coming back to focusing on the breath. The distraction is all a part of the practice. And I'd just like for you to use your imagination for a few moments. This very powerful tool for moving energy. And I'd like for you to imagine that from the space of pure love and divine source energy, somewhere from above you, a spiral of golden thread starts to spiral downwards, just surrounding your body with pure golden spiraling love energy. And maybe for you the gold transforms into rainbows or pink or any color that is resonating for you. Just observe that spiraling energy coming and settling around you. Watch how it behaves. And just acknowledge that this marks a space of safety as you call in divine love. No other protection is needed. And from that space of knowing that you are safe, simply say it out loud or in your head. I am safe. And just breathe that in for a few moments. Just notice the weight of your body on the ground. Notice anything in the body that needs noticing. No need to judge, just simply observing. And from here, I invite you to call your guiding spirits, those who work in alignment with pure love highest good, your protectors in spirit. And just notice if you feel any shifts. You might receive images or words, sounds, smells, taste even, vibration somewhere on the body, even a slight shift of temperature. Simply observe. And even if you perceive nothing at this point, simply trust. You have called, and so they are here with you now. It takes time to practice the tapping in with the subtle energy. If you have a specific question or anything to ask of your guiding spirits, simply hand that over to them now. Give it over. Weave the words. Granting them permission to speak through me today with the blue team. As I receive, all that vibrates with love may come through here today. And give yourself a little smile. Give thanks to your guides. Give yourself a hug. And just simply say, I trust. I trust, I trust, I trust, I trust. And whenever you feel ready, just gently tapping yourself back into the space, opening your eyes. Now I'm going to show you 3 sacred items. I'd love for you to just take a moment to observe anything. Maybe you feel a pull, maybe you feel a sensation in the body, maybe just something subtle coming through. Just observe your response to each of those sacred items. Okay, reading number 1. This lovely little stone. That's reading number 1. That's reading number 2. How does it feel? And of course, here we go, reading number 3, this beautiful little shell. How does that feel? Let's go for reading number 1. Trust unlocks many, many doors. Breathing deep unlocks many, many doors. Breathing deep allows trust. Moving slow with presence ironically unfolds things faster. And we love this irony here. This idea of slowing down is speeding up. Taking time to walk in nature. And really walking slowly. At the moment I'm house sitting and I'm looking after this wonderful, wonderful dog. Oh, he's such a good boy, such an angel. But he's 13 years old now, and so he walks very, very slowly. And of course, when you're running a business and you want to go shopping and you want to do all these things, you're always moving so fast. What a profound gift it is to slow down with Draggy on walks. To really invite myself to take each step slowly. To be present, to hear and listen to all the noises of the city and feel the breeze as it kisses my skin. And to take time to allow information, understanding to come through. For when we rush, we often make mistakes which set us back a few paces, right? And when we rush, we miss important details, we forget things behind, and we don't savor in the deliciousness of being where we are, of being on this journey, for we did not come here to get to some end goal. We came here to experience and be a part of the unfolding. To accept ourselves even as we are in this moment, even as we know we are forever becoming something else, someone else, discovering something else within us. Slow right down, for this is where eyes open, nervous systems come into regulation, and the magic and the beauty of what we so often call the simpler things in life really shine. And sometimes I feel it's kind of strange to call those things the simple things, for they are the most fundamental things, and they are the most abundant things, and they are the most valuable things. Our breath, our connection to the earth, our connection to earth, fire, water, and air. Our interconnection, our relation with each other, and those of the animal and plant kingdoms. Slow right down. All right, let's see what the cards are saying here. When we slow right down, we really allow ourselves to tap into true abundance. And by true abundance, I don't mean wealth and fancy cars, right? Monetary wealth. I mean true wealth, health, relationships. the earth, the fruitfulness of the earth. We see in this group the ability for dreams coming true. The prerequisite to that is to acknowledge how worthy you already are to receive that, and to listen to your heart and to turn your face towards the light, to allow that sunshine to kiss you. And sure, I mean that literally. Go out in the morning sun before the UV is too high and really absorb the energy of the sun. But of course, I also mean that metaphorically. We acknowledge and see the darkness. We accept that as a part of us. We bring our light to that, and we turn back towards the nourishing love, the light, the truth. Because pure love is the truth. Unconditional love is the truth. I know in some moments right now it feels like you are moving through the most intense juggling act and slowing right down. That is your key to success here. If you give your full focus and attention to each and every single task that you're doing in that moment, you make it into a meditation. That is how you tick those things off the lists. I want to talk a little bit about the energy that you're coming off of from, because it's very important in terms of the journey you're working now and what you're visualizing for the future. And many of you who chose, if not all, who chose this pile, this item, reading number 1, have moved recently through yet another very big awakening energy. Eyes wide open. But you know what is more important than that eye-opening moment is to integrate that knowledge into your life. How many times I have been shown a truth about someone, something, or a pattern, or a relation, not to point blame on anyone else. How many times? And then I try to fix it. But a lot of the time what is necessary is to actually let go of that relationship. To actually set a boundary that you stick to. Right? And again, I'm talking about realizations you've just moved through. Do you want to move through the same lesson again? Do you want to invite that person back in again? And I know many of you have released it, but of course it's going to creep back in and say, oh, I'm sorry, give me one more chance. And you know what you can do? You can forgive with an open heart and say, I appreciate your apology. I wish only the best and most beautiful for you. Thank you, but I don't want this relationship anymore. And stick to that boundary. The other lesson you have moved through recently is the importance of taking time to rest, right? And this is similar to that energy of moving slowly. Don't have to rush, right? If you're walking too quick and you bump into things, or you are conscious about each footstep, slowing down is speeding up. But sometimes we don't even need to be moving. Sometimes we need to sit under a tree and do nothing but meditate. Sometimes, of course, also you need good night's sleep, right? Every night, hopefully. Do integrate the powerful lessons you have just moved through. Do slow down, do turn towards the light. Know your inner strength. And in some ways that's a paradox, because you will never know your inner strength. For it is infinite and you cannot know with this brain in this 3D realm, this simulation, you cannot ever fully comprehend the infinite. But you are the strength of the entire universe. And that's one you probably can't fully integrate. But remind yourself of that as you dare to trust in the perfection of this moment, in each and every now moment moving forward, as you keep daring to listen to your heart, placing the heart over the mind, and daring to believe in the beautiful dreams you are weaving. I dare you. I dare you, I dare you. You are powerful, you are powerful, you are powerful. Thank you, gorgeous pile number 1. I really enjoyed that little channeling over there. I really encourage everyone to listen to all 3. Sometimes people choose reading number 1, they're like, oh yeah, that resonated, and off they go. But there might still be something coming through for you all the way to reading number 3. And it's also just a nice way to start observing your intuition and to become a little bit more nuanced about it. So you might find you are called to number 3 because that's directly speaking to a question you have or something you're going through, but perhaps you needed to hear what was in reading number 1 for a different reason. All right, gorgeous souls, here goes. We're reading number 2. If you don't know the next step, it's time to meditate. It's time to clear your space, throw out the clutter, get back down to what is important, most important. As you clear the clutter of your room, your home, your drawers, you clear the clutter from your mind and you come back down to what is fundamental and important. There are moments to know and to take steps forward. There are moments to reflect and to clean and to clear. And this is very much a spring cleaning kind of energy. Like, get rid of all the dust. Throw out those old boxes that have been sitting in storage for years and years and years and years. The more stuff you have, the more responsibility you have, the less free you are in this expression. It is important to understand that sort of nuance between I own some things and they benefit my life positively, or I think I own many, many, many things, but really they own me, because just the maintenance of dusting them, the maintenance of archiving them, the maintenance of caring for them takes up all of my energy. How can you cut away what no longer serves? And of course, please, no, I do mean this metaphorically and also literally clear out your homes. But please, if things are still usable, donate them to charity. If things are still edible and you're cleaning out the fridge, see if there's someone that you can gift that to. If there's someone homeless in the area, or I know not everyone comes from countries where there are people literally starving, but I do. And it's always very, very easy to give out food that's not going to be eaten. Some places are not like that, in which case we ask you to become a little bit more conscious about the wastefulness, the powerful consumer capitalist energy that we've kind of been programmed to just buy, consume, buy, consume, buy, consume. How can we cut down on waste? How can we cut down on plastic production? You may not have full control over the entire society around you, but you can make choices about your life. And nobody's asking you to go waste free overnight, but how can we align our lifestyles closer to the truth of who we are? How can we align our lifestyles in a way that when we walk, our every action speaks of the sacredness and the reverence that we have for the world around us, for all beings, for all peoples, all lands. How can we come back? It's an inside job, first and foremost. How can we come back to conscious communities, understanding that we're interconnected and that my health depends on your health. Your health depends on mine. What's good for you is good for me. What's good for us is good for me. All of us, without the separations. How do we clear back all the nonsense? Now I talk about the same energy, this time about information. The lie narratives, the propaganda, the misinformation. How do I come back to bare truths? How do I train myself to see through the lie narratives? These are important questions. And of course, a wonderful first step is to cut away the unnecessary things from your life. What is draining your energy? How can you make it all more simple? How can you talk about each thing as resonating with the energy of love or fear? Because if we are to speak about love, that is seeing people as people, no matter their skin, race, religion, sexual orientation, economic position, nationality. To see all animals as sacred and divine. To see all plants as sacred and divine. To see all land as sacred and divine. How do I get rid, cleanse, let go, cut away that which no longer serves me? How do I strip away the lie narratives? How do I question my ideas? How do I open my mind to multiple ways of seeing? And I think this is one of the cornerstones of spiritual liberation, psychic development, enlightenment, is the ability to hold more than one perspective, more than one way of seeing, knowing. There is not a right or a wrong here. There is just eyes of love, many rivers, or eyes of fear with many rivers. And let's see what your cards are saying, Divine Family. Whew, that one was important, I'm not gonna lie. That was very important. So many of you are sitting with some mental blocks here. This idea of there's only one way of doing, seeing. Why can't people see the way I see? Shaming others, shaming yourself. Just remember, there was once upon a time you did not see that way. Compassion for wherever people are on their journey of unfolding. Your biggest battle here is with your own mind. And yes, here we see those of you who've chosen this reading, right? There's some big decisions to be made here. There's multiple pathways in front of you, and in many ways you're a little bit blinded. You're not seeing the way. And so sometimes it is important to just sit and cut away and clear and shift that viewpoint. Find your truth. You know, the way you've been looking at your pathway up to this point is in some ways a bit bitter. Oh, that person hurt me. This one betrayed me. You know, people are such backstabbers. And it's been such a hard, long road to get to this point. But did you forget about the beautiful views on the way? Did you forget that that was just a wonderful way of unlocking your healing ability to bring you onto this path here in this moment, right now? Was that not just the kind of pressure needed to create a diamond within you? So we can talk about this as poor me, victim narrative, right? Fear narrative, poor me. Or we can go, wow, sure, okay, that was hard. We don't have to gaslight ourselves. It was painful. I let myself feel, I let myself heal. And you know what? So much wonderful stuff came out of it, right? Just letting go of the bitterness, stepping back into the trust and the knowing that things are unfolding in divine timing for your highest good, for your most wonderful unfolding. Your biggest battle is with your own mind. And if you can take charge, if you can become the programmer of your thoughts, the programmer of your perspective, the programmer of your focus, which again is not about gaslighting yourself, right? We're not talking about toxic positivity here. We're not saying, you know, when you're grieving the loss of a friend or someone betraying you, that you just pretend you're okay. That's not what we're talking about at all. What we're talking about here is knowing that even when it's painful, even when you're grieving, even when it's challenging, it's knowing that there is some beautiful blessing that is about to unfold through it. We see potential moving ahead for this group, for wonderful abundance, wonderful connection, wonderful nurturing, wonderful fruition. But you've gotta clear away the nonsense. Face your addictions. Quit scrolling on social media all the way late into the night. Align yourself back in with faith, with truth. There is no solid outcome here because it is all up to you. You choose the path. Let's see, reading number 3 comes in. Yeah. Darlings, all of your emotions are sacred. All of your versions of self are sacred. All of who you are, even your darkness, is sacred. I'm feeling a lot of self-shaming and gaslighting going on here. And the most important lesson to integrate in this group is to just stop lashing yourself like you need to be punished. And I'm sure many of you came from parents who taught you to do that because they were taught to do it to themselves too. And so they did it to you. And so this is linked with inner child work. And you know, so much of inner child work focuses on traumatic things that happened to me as a child. But I think an often overlooked aspect of inner child work is tapping back into that magical part of you, that part of you that believes in dragons and fairies and unicorns and the possibilities of like what could happen in the future, and that part of you that gets excited about a trip or a new adventure or whatever it is, or just something small like having an ice cream. That part of you that is filled with hope. That part of you that is just so pure. So pure. There is so much potential to just tap into so much magic when you move through the process of reparenting your inner child. And if the only thing that you take away from this session today is to begin really observing yourself when you start shaming yourself, right? How many of you, when you make a mistake, go, "Oh no, I'm so sorry, I'm so stupid." Oh dear. Oh dear. Hell nah. Are you kidding me? You are literally the embodiment of pure divine love and source energy. The energy and the potential that flows through you is the same energy that created this entire solar system. Have you ever spent some time staring up at the stars and looking at the magic and just thinking, wow. Like that wow is you. That wow is you. And you are such a powerful creator. You can become anything you say you are. And what you put after those words, I am. And you're so used to scolding yourself. You're so used to punishing yourself. And that we got to nip it in the butt. We got to nip it in the butt. And the greatest temptation is going to be catching yourself and then shaming yourself for shaming yourself. And it's okay. It's going to take a few tries. It's going to be a practice. But you have got to put yourself up on a pedestal, not above anyone else, but just as wonderful as everyone else. In your darkness, in your sadness, in your emotions, there is nothing wrong with you. Now, some of you might find that triggering. You might say, I have been diagnosed with ADHD, depression, autism, I don't know, whatever it is. And I'm here to tell you, there is nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with you. The kind of capitalist, consumerist society which isolates and teaches us to internalize our oppressions. There's something wrong with the environment. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. So I'm not saying that the depression doesn't exist. Please just feel into the nuance here. I can acknowledge that, insert whatever diagnosis or experience, that's real. I'm not taking it away from you. That's real. But there's nothing wrong with you. With you. The problem is with the environment. And so, how do you begin to create a more nourishing environment for yourself so that you can begin to flourish within you and become a more contributing member of the kinds of societies we want to manifest in our new world? Because you can't do it from that space. And you cannot just flick a switch and go from depressed to happy, or overstimulated to completely regulated. You can't just flick the switch and move from one to the other. There's a process in between, and part of it is acknowledging how you feel without shaming yourself about it, without saying, oh, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, even if you do not feel that way right now. Even in your sadness, in your grief, in your depression, you are perfect, whole, and complete. Let yourself have the perfectly whole and complete experience of whatever emotion is moving through you at this point. And bring yourself in and hold yourself through it without shaming yourself. Oh, you need to go to work right now. No, you don't. And I know, well, okay, Carla, okay, but I've got bills to pay. I get it. This is exactly the system we are stuck in. Overextending ourselves, not having enough time for ourselves, not regulating ourselves. And so we trapped in that cycle. They need us to be depressed. They need us to be anxious and dysregulated in order that we do not have the strength to overturn this system. How do we come back to integrative systems, to symbiotic relationships, to a sense of our health, the environment's health, Mother Nature? Can we care for this earth now, please? And I know I'm preaching to the choir. But when you are depleted, barely able to even get through the day, popping pills. I know not all of you are popping pills, but many of you are popping pills. And I'm not shaming you for it. It's okay. Sometimes pills can help for a while. Everyone has a different journey. Some people do need to be on that journey of staying on pills. That's also okay. No shame here. But I do think that a large majority of people are just put onto pills to numb them so they can keep feeding this capitalist machine when there's nothing wrong with you. It's the environment. And even if you do need to stay on pills, even if you have serious mental, what I guess is called disorders, or ways of mentally functioning that do not fit into a capitalist society, let's put it that way, you are still perfect, whole, and complete, even as you are right now. This is a moment of slaying shame and guilt. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Catch yourself and stop it. Stop it. Let's see what those cards are saying. Yes, absolutely beautiful. I see many of you have taken a pause on the work, and the work might seem quite overwhelming, and it may be time to take another pause on the work and to really just come back to that inner love. It's a journey you've already moved through, and many of you are greatly affected about what's playing out on the world stage at the moment. It's very overwhelming. It's difficult to carry on with normal life. It's difficult to not pass judgment over people and over ourselves as well. And it's just so important for you to just keep taking time to rest so that you can have the energy to take action towards actually building what it is you want to see in the world. Because the more of us that do that, the better. And trust me, that support exists. So many of us, how many of you resonate with this one? So many of us are trained that when we're depressed, we're sad, we lock ourselves away and we don't reach out to our communities because we feel like, oh, we're just going to be a drain on them, or I don't want to put my damper on other people, and we isolate. That's exactly what this system needs you to do in order that you be crushed. Hello, people. Let's reach out to our communities. Let us hold each other. Let us support each other. Your health is my health. When we understand that connection, like, let's be there for each other. You do not exist in a vacuum. Acknowledge the support. Rest. Look after yourself. Get up and take action. I know the temptation. I've done that many times myself. But when you're not feeling okay, send those messages out to your friends. Be like, I'm not feeling okay. I don't really know what I need right now, but I'm not okay. And sometimes it's okay to not be okay, but don't go be not okay all by yourself, because that's a spiral, and it's not that gorgeous golden spiral, right? That's the downward into the deepest dumps spiral. And the only way to get back out of there, let me tell you, I think the most important medicine of our time is rebuilding real community, because that is really what's been absolutely crushed. How many of you, if you think of someone you love deeply, would be really upset if they didn't tell you? So many of us trained to isolate ourselves, like, oh, we'll just be a burden. Hello, you are no burden, right? And you heal so much quicker when you can connect with people, like real people. So important. What a beautiful blessing and a privilege it has been to be live with you, gorgeous humans, today in the group channeling session. Thank you for bringing your sacred energy and sharing your sacred time with me and the beautiful community here at Luna Ascension. Hope you'll hit follow. Hope you'll join our group. Hope you'll go find us. And super, super, super excited to be connected with you all. You are beautiful, and yes, just remember, you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. You came here for the unfolding, and you have a lot more power than you've been programmed to believe, darlings. And a lot of that power is accessed in self-care. Love you. Bye, darling.